Welcome, folks. Between the Posts, Saturday the 8th of July, and what a day we've seen. The men's divisions, day 2, and fantastic football across all 3 divisions. Of course, Division 1 was played down there at Minerals Resource Park. Division 2 was played at Revo Fitness Stadium, Claremont, and Division 3 at Lane Group Stadium. Right here where Peel Thunder play, of course, and what a fantastic day. Let's have a look at all the results and the ladders from a huge day so far. Well, folks, we attended the launch a couple of nights ago, and fantastic Nutrien Ag. People got up and spoke. We had a broad range of people, but the fantastic hats, of course. But more than that, Nutrien Ag Solutions, fantastic sponsors for the whole of the country championships with the naming rights, and also the men's divisions partners in conjunction with the Western Australian Country Football League. We'd also like to thank CBH Group assisting with the Colts, and Rio Tinto with the women's, of course. That's coming up later in the year. Belt Up, the Insurance Commission of Western Australia, great programs there. Think Mental Health, Regional Men's Health, and the Western Australian Football Commission. And let me tell you, we attended the forum as well. We'll come to that a little bit later in the show because there's some fantastic things happening for the regional areas. The goal of the game in the championships, Macintosh and Son, and I'll tell you what, we want to remind you, we'll pop it up on screen, and that is the Ride and Drive Day. Big Tony is looking very much to getting along, and if I can't drive anything, well, I'll just hop in with someone. I'll be there with the puppies next to me, and we'll have a ride around on all the gear. 20th of July down there at Merredin. Now, mark and game of the championships, Bruce Rock Engineering, fantastic sponsors there for the mark of the game. Our player of the match, of course, we've been giving out the 25-year commemorative jumper and the Dartfish beanie, and don't the players love to get that beanie on top of the nut? The Optima Ag play of the match gets a pair of Archie's thongs and also the Omnibus Igniter. So that's the player that does something special, could be in the engine room or around the ground to get things going. They also get the Archie's thongs. Other points that we need to think about and thank are Sportal for the scoreboard, Fairman's Hire for the scaffolding, and of course we're going to talk about the Dartfish stats. So Filming Footy, who bringing you this great production all around regional Western Australia and the world. Yes, the world is watching because there are people interstate and overseas telling us that how much they're enjoying the championships thanks to Filming Footy. Let's go to the Dartfish stats. So with the Dartfish stats, we're going to pop some stuff up on the screen here. These are phenomenal. We're using them with a lot of clubs over the last few years now. This is the way that football's going. You can see these stats. You can do an overall macro of the game. You can do backline, midline, forward line. You can even get to playlists. You can individualise it, or you might look at a certain type of play that you're after. So it might be clearances, it might be inside 50s, it might be kick-outs, whatever. And we can tailor all that because every game has around about 1,500 events. Bring that down into individual stats. We can get player heat maps, we can get leaderboards, and we can also see normal statistics. Of course, there's a lot more with the Dartfish stats that clubs, teams, and coaches are using in conjunction with the Sportal scoreboard. You can play your stats and look at some of those plays in footage on your Sportal scoreboard. So keep an eye out. Of course, we're going to have the truck coming around later in the year to a lot of the regional areas. Please get in contact. We're going to put the details up on screen now. There is so much happening for the future of football and the development of coaches, teams and players. So thank you to all our sponsors there. We'll take a short break. One of the fantastic things that we're able to do down here is, of course, give out the thongs as a presentation, and thankful to the players that have come up and received the awards. They do enjoy the Archie song, so I caught up with a couple of players from North Pilbara. We're going to have a look at the before photo. We traded up and we've got an after photo, and they were very thankful. So we do thank those two players for coming on and their appreciation of the Archie songs, and let's have a look at these happy faces right now.
When you think of the future of your business, what is it that you hope for?
I'm just going to start the irrigator.
Ways to grow? Ways to be more self-reliant? And always be one step ahead. Are you looking for a partner with solutions to complex business problems? Well, no matter your goal, with Nutrien Ag Solutions, we'll help you go further.
Since day one, Macintosh & Son has been growing with our community. Today, we continue to grow our team, services and support for our customers. As a registered training organisation, we're proud to be investing in the future of our people. We know what's important. The right equipment is essential to getting the job done, and it needs to be backed up with industry-leading service and support so we can be there when it matters most. Macintosh & Son. Grow with us.
Welcome back, folks. Well, I'll tell you what, it was fantastic to attend the Community Development Forum. They held that through the day, of course, on Friday that was, and fantastic to see so many representatives from a lot of different areas in the room, some fantastic presentations as well. I'll tell you what, we've got a few interviews here. We've covered off with the Commission, we've covered off with a few dignitaries, and also to hear from one of the clubs of the benefits of the whole forum and what they take home with them. So enjoy these interviews, please. One of the most important parts of the Western Australian Country Football Championships is, of course, the Community Development Forum. I'm joined by Dan Murphy, first of all. Welcome, Dan.
G'day, Tony. Thanks for coming down and obviously capturing the event.
Mate, this is so important. It's more than just time on the field. It's what's happening off the field and around the regions and the communities. Tell us about, I love this, the Community Champions.
Yep. Yeah, so the Community Champions pretty much established through our partnership with Healthway, who are our premier partners of the WA Country Footy League. Through our program that we deliver with them, Phase 3 is Community Champions, and through that there's a whole range of education, training opportunities, and one of them that established through the network that we've got is they wanted to come together, develop a community of practice, and they've been doing that online, given the reach of the programs all across regional WA from Esperance to East Kimberley. But yeah, today they wanted to come together, share ideas, knowledge, and also take some of the learnings from today back to their communities. So,
how important is it to get everyone together in one place at one time?
Yeah, it's super important, and it's something we aren't able to do given the reach of the program, like we mentioned. It's quite difficult getting everyone together at the one time, but aligning it to Country Champs with obviously filming footy, covering the whole event. There's 18 teams in the seniors, a number in the Colts, and having our champions in for this event so they can network with the different leagues to explain their role in the communities. It's really important, and today we've got people coming in from all over the state. We've got Carnarvon represented, which is great. A couple come up from Esperance, which is 700 k's southeast of Perth. Carnarvon's about 10 hours northwest of Perth. A number from the southwest, Metro, Perth, Pinjarra, and yeah, all through our country areas, which is really important.
So we had a great discussion last night. I probably spoke for 90% and you probably got a couple of words in. That's how we roll. But I'm interested because we talk about hotspots and we won't go through all of these, folks, because you touched on it a moment ago. It might be floods, it might be rural, it might be employment, it might be not getting numbers to a football club, it might be coach anxiety, it could be player anxiety. So there's things that happen in the region, or there's things that happen to individual people. We don't want to be on the negative, and we're aware of those hotspots. The other exciting bit here is that you're getting a lot of results and positive outcomes. That's what I love. Is it a matter of just getting the community together? Is it sending professionals down there, giving some guidance, putting a framework around it and some tools? Tell us about the positive outcomes.
Yeah, definitely. As we've mentioned a few times today, the reach of the program is significant. It's not a one-size-fits-all, so it really depends on what the needs of the community are. And obviously today's a really good opportunity to come together and explain to each other what those are in the different regions and build an approach for that. But yeah, we've had Think Mental Health Round, which is a statewide initiative that's now filtered into the Waffle in more recent years, which is great. The Talk to a Mate barbecues, which happen at every club. They've really embraced that through our Healthway partnership, promoting the Think Mental Health message, obviously behind us here. And a number of other initiatives that clubs have used those, I suppose, awareness activities to build, more year-on-year activities around the club. So it's not just a once-off for the year, it's something that they do week in, week out. And through this network that we've got here today, they've come up with, 5 or 6 initiatives throughout their club for the year, and they've got Regional Men's Health, one of our key partners. They deliver club awareness talks. We mentioned Tackle Your Feelings, deliver education. Through Healthway, we've got opportunities to deliver mental health training. And then what we've done in Carnarvon is basically use some of the leaders to work with them to develop localised initiatives for the club. So, like I said, there's obviously a statewide overarching approach, but what we're trying to do going forward is really understand, put more resources within communities. So we're not just driving in, having a really good event and then leaving and nothing happens. It really comes down to the volunteers, and today you'll see that throughout the forum today, that without them we don't have a program. So it's really built off them in their communities, for their communities.
We can understand what you've said there. This room today will be buzzing. I'd love to be here for the whole day and hear some of the discussions, but it's like a conduit. So there's some common denominators through all areas, and then there's some very individual stuff in all the different regions.
Yep.
You've spoken about the current. Give us a little bit more, I guess so, a broader approach of the vision for the future. You're getting out to, there's 25 leagues.
Yep.
We're getting out to every league. Have we targeted every league and got to them? Obviously, you're sending out information.
Yep.
There's contact details that they can get hold of,
Absolutely.
which is easy to access. Give us a little bit of a look. It's fantastic at the moment. It's been set up, rolling 8 to 10 years. What's the future look like?
Yeah, the future's exciting, Tony. It really is. We've just launched the WA Footy Wellbeing Hub, so there's a number of resources that people can access through there, which is really great that they can then use them to work at their club and develop, initiatives like we've said for their club. Connecting communities through our great game is what we're trying to do, and some out in the country populations, a lot of the agriculture areas, farms are getting bigger, but populations unfortunately getting smaller, and the footy club numbers are suffering. Sometimes we've only got 2 or 3 locals playing footy, the rest, bus out from Perth or other areas. So this space is something, creating that atmosphere at the club that's safe, inclusive, and really welcoming to new people that enter town to get behind. And we're really seeing clubs embrace the program, which is really exciting. And I think, we're not sure what the future holds. We're not even scratching the surface in terms of the reach and impact that we can have. But through partners like Healthway, Regional Men's Health Initiative, the Alcohol and Drug Foundation, Think Mental Health obviously is through the Healthway partnership, like we've mentioned. With their support, we can start providing more resources for clubs to utilise and really drive the approach forward. So, the future is definitely bright, and we're looking forward. We've launched the Country Footy WA rebrand last night.
That's
and
correct.
a big part of our future is in the vision is health and wellbeing. And that's front and centre for us. It has been for a number of years and really embraced from clubs. So we're not sure where it's going to go in the future, but today is a really good start to have that conversation and find out from our leaders across the state where they want to take it and how we can support them. So, looking forward to getting into it.
And you've touched on the sponsors, Think Mental Health and Healthway. The other thing, Dan, just quickly, and I haven't prepped you for this, but you touched on it there, and I do a lot of work in this field where coaches will go out and they prepare physically. They do the pre-season, it's all physical. They might do a little bit on nutritional and not much on mental. Then when we get to game day, we talk about game day performance, feedback to players, understanding roles, etc. I personally believe that most of your game day stuff, it becomes mental, then nutritional, and the physical bit, you've done the preparation, is almost, they could be linear, but the mental prep is so important. Players are under pressure, people are under pressure with decision making, skills, actions, people watching them, and yet we don't do a lot of work in the pre-season and off-season. So is that something you're working with as well with the coaches? Yeah,
absolutely. Coaches, Tackle Your Feelings is obviously a mental health education program specific for coaches, now filtered into other areas, but the coaches are key. They spend the most amount of time with the playing group, with the community in a lot of our regions throughout the week. So to have them upskilled and know how how to spot signs when it might be a shift in behaviour or something that's going on, maybe outside of footy. They're quite often the first person to spot that, but also support their players as well through challenging periods throughout the year. As you touched on before, obviously the AFL have recently designed a mental health ladder, which is behind the premiership ladder, and just having conversations with some of the players that have come out of the system have mentioned that, no real surprise, but the Richmond footy clubs, the Bulldogs, the teams that have really focused on that, the mental health and well-being of their players, members and communities have translated to on-field. So I think through the AFL, they've found that the teams that are on the top 8 of the mental health ladder are the exact same on the premiership ladder.
Yeah, so it's physical and mental run together.
Absolutely, and one thing we have piloted out in the wheat belt through support of Hollyoake and also Healthway is we're actually rewarding clubs that engage in these activities, putting them on a ladder, and then they can redeem the points for relevant club rewards that are going to improve their club environment. So touched on obviously what we're hoping to go in the forward. That's a really key focus for us, is rewarding clubs, putting them on a ladder and showing who's really leading the way in this space, and providing them tangible items for their promotion and awareness of mental health at a local level. So
absolutely outstanding. You're a young man, Dan, so thank you for spending that time with us. I think you've got a long road ahead of you, but very well spoken and just absolutely sensational. I can't commend you enough with the work that you're doing in this space, so thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, cheers, Tony, and thanks to obviously Dartfish and the Filming Footy team. It's something that we're really keen to get behind. Obviously, the championships is prevalent. You're covering every game, which I don't think's happened before. And, there's film crew, there's opportunities for employment. So that's a big part of the way forward, getting behind Dartfish and having more of these opportunities shared, because I think that's one thing we're not that good at in footy is telling the story and sharing it. And Dartfish obviously allow us to do that. So thanks for all the work you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome down here to Lane Group Stadium. We are honoured to have Ian Stanley joining us today. Ian, welcome.
Thank you, James.
And so you're the executive at the WA Country Football League. What does that entail, and what is your overarching role in the league?
So the league's managed, it was by a board of 10 directors. It's now, we're going through a fairly large governance structure change. But yeah, so the league is managed by a board of directors. I'm vice chair of that board at the moment. And my specific role, amongst others, is to work with Dan Murphy, who's you've just heard from. The job he does is amazing, but work with him and make sure that we're across all the stuff that he's doing. And most of that is about the Think Mental Health and working with our corporate partner in Healthways in making sure we get that message across.
So we're here in the function room at Lane Group Stadium. There's lots of tables set up. There's a buzzer in the air. Tell us what this forum is about today. What is it trying to achieve, and overall, what is it?
Well, it's taking taking the opportunity to get everyone from across the state who are interested in this mental health space. It's not only mental health; it's about community well-being. I think I would probably prefer to use that well-being description because it's about the players, the members of the community, and the communities themselves. And what I've noticed in my 8 or 9 years as a director on the board of Country Footy is that we have the actual core role of our business now has changed a little bit, and we do have to understand that we represent what you would call the demographics, I suppose, that the people are at most risk. Now, generally, that's been young men in that age group that are just unfortunately highly represented in self-harm and suicide. And that starts with providing a safe place. So that this is an opportunity to get, because we're having our country championships. It's probably about the only time in the year when they're all in Perth at the one time. And as Dan said earlier, they come from all over the state, from way to the east, right down to the coast at south, and all the way up to Kununurra in the north, basically. I'm not sure they'll be represented here today, but anyway, those community champions, as we've labelled them, are down here not only to be part of the football that goes out on the field, but also sit down and swap stories and ideas on how they can best understand what other communities are doing to contribute to the well-being of that entire group. When we first started looking at how we were going to get people engaged in this whole process, understand that it's a general understanding now that people do realise that the well-being of or the success of football clubs, if you like, and the trickle-down effect of that through the communities definitely does now include being successful off the field. And that, if we wrap that up into that term well-being, then these people are here to try and understand what other people are doing in their communities. Dan touched on the idea that it's not one size fits all. You know, the people who are dealing with the issues they have off the field in Carnarvon are completely different to the ones that you might have down in Esperance and perhaps out into the wheat belt. So this is a forum where they can come together, still be involved in the competition on the field. That's really, really important. That's basically why we're here. But take advantage of the fact we're all in Perth at the one time, sit down and just really workshop ideas that we can say, well, what are you doing that works? What are you doing that doesn't work? And that informs Dan and myself and the council that we put together of all these experts that Dan referred to, we can then really work out, okay, well, this is the way we should go. I go back to when we first started the process with Healthways. I was part of the group that initiated that with Joe, with the general manager at the time, Joe Georgiadis, and we could see that whilst a lot of money was being spent in on these programs, riding into town with your core flutes and making awareness was very important. But if you rode out of town, those core flutes faded in the sun and blew away, and maybe your message wasn't being left. And that's where this whole idea of community champions came from. We wanted to try and build a resource in the communities so that they could tackle and work out exactly what was needed within those communities. That's being done. Dan's done a fantastic job of developing that whole group of people. As diverse as the regions in Western Australia, so are these community champions. So they're now coming together now to swap ideas, and they're just going to empower them to understand exactly what does work and just take that forward.
So how will this benefit the people in country football, but then also country football as a whole on the field and also off the field? Because we know footy clubs are as much off-field as they are on field. They're a good spot for the community to come together. So how is this going to benefit all those involved in country football?
Well, Dan also mentioned this, that and the relationship between community wellbeing, player mental health, player wellbeing and success on the field is a two-way thing. And so we believe that whilst the success on the field does generate a healthy club, success off the field generates healthy communities, and that's what this forum is all about, trying to understand how we can link those two things together and make sure that communities prosper and feel better about themselves and increase the well-being of those small communities.
And for those that can't make the forum today, make sure you go and find out some information from the Think Mental Health website, Healthways, and also on the WA Country Football League website, and there's always support available. It's a great initiative that the WA Country Football League are doing. You should be really proud of you and your board of directors. So well done, Ian Stanley. Thanks for your time today.
James, and thank you too for all the effort, as Stan mentioned, that you guys have put into this. And I can't finish this interview without really patting Dan Murphy on the back. And also, I think I should extend that to the Commission. When we first started this process, if I'd been doing this on my own, we would have got nowhere. But Dan has been able to really bring a fantastic group of interested, professional people all under the country football umbrella. And he's been supported. We've been supported financially and with human resource by the Commission. Dan's just a fantastic example of what can be achieved if we all work together. So cheers, James.
Thanks, Ian.
Welcome back. Well, here we are at the Community Forum, the Development Forum, and I'm joined by Mark Delane, the President of Dunsborough Sharks. First of all, welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
And, mate, we're down here at Mandurah at the moment, but how far is Dunsborough from Perth, let's say, so people get an idea how far you travel?
Yeah, so we're about 2.5 hours south of here, so on the coast.
Okay, and fantastic to have the Development Forum. First of all, why are you here?
We're a new club in the Southwest Footy League and the largest regional club in the state. So we've grown really quickly and we cover Auskick through to Masters. So as a hub for our community, I think mental health is a really important sort of issue and topic for us, and we're really trying to engage our whole club and our whole community and raise that awareness.
And touching on that, being a new club, you go through lots of, we say, hot spots and then get things up and running, and I know you're doing a great job. We've been talking about some of the areas you're involved in. The benefits to your region by engaging this kind of program as well?
Oh, I think it's well documented, the need for mental health, particularly in young men, to be able to talk, but also we've got a lot of single mums, a lot of FIFO guys. So the footy club is really a conduit for that opportunity to talk to each other and raise those issues. It's I suppose as important as having a kick of footy.
Yeah, exactly right, isn't it? Because you got the physical side and you want to have the mental side as well. And you talked about that conduit. You're actually the conduit between what goes on today and all the presenters. There's a fantastic range of topics here and your club. What are some of the key points you think you'll take back?
I think the most important is we're not alone, and so being able to talk to each other, and we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So the Footy Commission has been really active in this space with Healthways, and for us it's just trying to capitalise on those resources and then deliver it to our members and to our community. So really excited to be here.
And so touching on that, because it gets rolled out, we know they've been going 8 to 10 years, you take some information back, or as a club you might host some other clubs, or you might get together as a league. How has it been received in the region? I think it's a fantastic initiative, yes, but how has it been received in the region?
Well, it's one of those things, it's like everything, it's slow at times, people get on with their life and things are generally busy. We recently had David Mundy play for us in the Think Mental Health round, and that was fantastic. I mean, the level of excitement, engagement and the exposure that created by him playing was fantastic, and we had over 3,000 people come and watch the game, and we were able to deliver that message quite strongly.
And sometimes, which you've touched on, it can be slow at times because people all of a sudden they don't make contact, they don't preempt or say, let's get in front of it. They wait until something's happened and say, quick, let's get a fix up here, and that's not how to do it. Get the people out, engage with them. Tell us about that one. How's the contact and the follow-ups? You've actually said there's a hotline if you really need it, so they're on the ball. Oh,
absolutely. I think at any time if we ever needed something, we could call the Footy Commission and Daniel in particular and his team and Healthways. There's plenty of resources. I think that the challenge is always getting people to be okay with reaching out and asking for that help and that resources. And us as a club and a community, it's our job to make those resources available.
Well, Mark, you're doing a fantastic job down there at Dunsborough. You're very welcoming. We had a chat. You were one of the first people I spoke to in the room, and you're a credit to your club, mate. You can hold your head up high. You're doing a great job for all those people down there at Dunsborough. You've got the right man in the right seat. So thank you so much for joining us, mate.
Pleasure, thank you, and thanks to the Footy Commission for hosting and Healthways for their partnership.
Well, our magnificent goal of the day and also goal of the championships is sponsored by Macintosh & Son. And joining me is Rob Pauly. Welcome, Rob.
Welcome, Tony.
Thank you very much for coming along and having a chat, because we're fascinated. We've seen some great goals already over the championships, and I'm sure over the 4 days there'll be some really special goals. First of all, tell us what Macintosh & Son does.
Macintosh & Son is a major machinery dealership throughout Western Australia and through sort of Victoria and Queensland. So they have multiple dealerships through those states, and they are branded with New Holland and multiple other franchises.
So big machinery. I'm going to ask you later whether I can get the right one, but just tell us about the sponsorship. How long involved? Was it minor, major? What's been happening with the sponsorship?
We've only sponsored in our area sort of at club level, but now currently we're doing at the league level, and we've come on board as a major sponsor of EDFL, and we're proud to be part of that and look forward to the country carnival down here with the league side that's been coming down, And
we talk about working with the community, and why is it important to be a sponsor, and getting brand awareness out there is super huge, especially, Macintosh & Son, you'll hear me saying that name a lot over the tournament, but why do the sponsorship?
Look, we just want to be part of the communities. As we all know, they're obviously shrinking, and but as far as the brand goes, we want to be involved in businesses, but also, I guess, the connection that people have, and to have sport in the country is so important, I think, for people to be able to go on the weekends and see other people and mingle, I guess, with their fellow people out in the bush, And
it is huge, isn't it, the mental health side of it and getting the community together. And you mentioned about EDFL, and we come down today to the Big Smoke, and we're out at Mandurah and different places. How good is it when you see all of that happening, not so much worrying about the sponsorship, but just getting out and seeing all those people enjoying enjoying it and knowing that you're a big part of that. How good is it to be involved?
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I think my connection with footy goes back certainly as director and part of the Western Australian Country Footy League, but the whole time continued to join in with, I guess, club level, but also within leagues all throughout the wheat belt. And, yeah, it's just so good. You come down here, the younger fellas get involved and obviously showcase get to play up against, I guess, a class above. And, yeah, I think it just does everyone a world of good to get away.
Now, Rob, a lot of car places, they have the, show and shine where they polish the cars up and have a bit of a look. But I like this one. This is the bit I'm excited about, folks. Tell us about the ride and drive that's coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, look, we've got a ride and drive day in Merredin, which all clubs are all dealerships are looking forward to and all welcome to come there. But sort of being central area, and we've got what they call a SwarmBot, which is a robotic or autonomous sprayer. And then we've got all the big New Holland machinery, harvesters and tractors. But also we have a lot of other franchises like AgriSpread and it's an integral part of our business, and it's good to get them all together and give the opportunity for farmers to come in for the day and actually be able to drive a machine instead of just being able to look at a static display, I guess.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Do you have to have a special licence for that?
Well, you do actually for a big tractor, but for you, you're right, mate. You'll be able to have a ride in the back.
All right. Well, that'll do me. The other bit that's important on these days is you can also get out and meet the reps. So people that have got knowledge around the machinery and answer the questions as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah, there'll be all product reps there that for all brands of machinery that we do. And obviously we've got a lot of franchises, I think probably well above 20. But, we'll try and get as many as we can there. And, look forward to them having the interaction with the farmers. So.
All right, Rob, thank you so much for spending that time with us. It's been a huge night in here and at the launch, and we've seen you already at the games today, and we wish you all the best. Enjoy the carnival yourself, the championships over the next few days, and thank you so much for being involved. It's an absolute marvellous thing that you do with your sponsorship. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
We're going to discuss something that's very close to my heart and a great interest. And I'm joined by Owen Caddo, the Executive Officer of Regional Men's Health. First of all, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
So, Owen, let's talk about, there's many programs out there, but the Talk to a Mate, first of all, what is the program? And the important thing is here that a mate can be male to female, underage, all that sort of thing. It's a broad version of Talk to a Mate, isn't it?
Look, it is, and we push our Talk to a Mate message, and the principle of that is for blokes to identify who they can talk to and spill their guts about stuff going on in their life. And we say for blokes it's either a mentor, a peer or a partner. And for females, they generally have more categories than that.
Yes.
But the one partner that's common between both of us is if it's my wife or my partner or vice versa. So really important footy clubs to be that conduit to access a safe place for a lot of blokes to talk about stuff which they normally wouldn't talk about.
Talk to us. I can't believe this is astounding. You've gone out to 90% of the leagues and you've covered pretty much most of Western Australia, the biggest state in Australia, and you've covered it. You've gone out to 90%. How's that all going, and how long have you been travelling, getting around to them all?
Oh, look, we've been travelling around since about 2010 over the whole state, but we've specifically been involved with the WA Country Footy for the last 9-10 years, and there's 4 of us and 5 of us on the road sometimes, and we go to where we're invited, so that's from Kununurra to Albany and Esperance in between, and a lot of the talks are after footy train, and on game day we get to talk to the players before the bounce down or when the coaches allow us in the club rooms, and it's just a really important touch point for sometimes for blokes to hear a message and engage which they wouldn't have ever in their life. So I can't push that enough, because if a bloke feels as though it's a safe place, I've never met one bloke yet that hasn't wanted to engage or spill his story and open up, and it gives them permission as well. A lot of what we do is just normalising people's, what's going on in their life. We talk about situational distress or shit going on in their life, but it's just stuff in life, and we need to be able to talk about it openly, and that's important.
The other good thing, Owen, is the high points. So we can talk about the bad, but we can talk about the good, the bad and the indifference. So you might have someone in the room talking about a downtime and someone goes, yes, I went through that, but this is what happened and there was a positive outcome. And sharing, this is it too, the education and knowledge. Tell us about it. Is it a one-off visit? You just go out and talk for 2.5 hours, say, see you later, that's it. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's a series. And is there support through the website as well?
Yeah, look, there is, and we go to clubs multiple times and leagues multiple times, and we talk physical health, mental health, and what we call social spiritual. I pump here because that's what makes us tick as blokes. It's our passions, our interests, and what makes us wake up in the morning. And we've all got a different capacity in life, and we've all been through different stuff and shit, and it's just really important that we can talk about it.
And the other one that we did speak about there was purpose. I'm huge on that, let's find a purpose to get up in the morning, a purpose to go home at night after work, a purpose to go to our sports club, to go out and enjoy. That is a huge part of it, isn't it? One of the pillars.
Look, it is, Tony, and we say blokes in particular need three things in their life, and the first one is a sense of purpose, a sense of hope, and someone to love. And, if you can get engaged in one of those areas, well, that gives you the get up and go and gets us out of bed in the morning, and really important.
And you normally find that someone that's a member of a sports club is also owns the local hardware store, works in the baker, is a farmer, whatever. So it's not just the sport, is it? It spreads out. It's a conduit into the whole community. I think this is a very important point here. Tell us about how that's spread out further through the community.
Look, it is, Tony, that connectedness, and the blokes have talked about it tonight at the Country Footy launch, and that just goes through presidents, players, wives, families. There's a lot of people. They reckon the research tells us that over half of all of us as blokes that haven't got that point of contact, that conduit of someone to speak to. So the footy clubs provide that for individuals, and we can't quantify it, but it's just enormous, and it's just engaging people through connectedness, which is the power of football and the power of what we do, getting out to talking to blokes.
I tell you, Owen, I'm only holding the microphone that's stopping. If I could give you a hug, mate, I would right now, because it is something, it's so important. There's nothing embarrassing about it. It's get out and have a talk to your friends, your neighbours, your people at your sports club. You are doing an absolutely sensational job. Regional men's health, as we said, and extends out into the women's and the junior grades as well. So we can't thank you enough, Owen. It's super important that you're here at the country championships and that people can see you. You're a face. If they can come up and have a talk and say, how do we get in contact? Where do we go? Which is all on the website, by the way, folks. And if you haven't done it as a club, please get in contact. Owen, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, all the best. Thanks for your time.
I'll tell you what, folks, we're coming towards the end of the show. A bit sad down here, but what an exciting day we've got tomorrow down there at South Fremantle Oval. And, of course, the grand finals are on tomorrow. Division 3, 8:45, that will be on. Division 2, we have that down as 10:55. And Division 1 at 1:05. So another big day of football. We hope you've enjoyed the show. What we'd like to do now is thank all of our sponsors, all of our viewers for watching. And of course, remember, get onto that Filming Footy website. You can see a lot of the games, the magnificent interviews, or you can bypass them if you like. But of course, we want to see all the people from around the regions that we have interviewed get up there, raise their profiles. We thank all the people that have come and assisted. The staff here at Peel Thunder have been fantastic down here at the Oval. And remember to get onto that QR code. We'll pop that up now on the screen. And lastly, but most importantly, thank you, the viewers, wherever you may be watching. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Tune in tomorrow for the huge grand final.